Well, as I always say, Mondays are usually the most boring day starting the week. But as I always do, I intend to keep your Mondays fun and exciting. So for today's episode, my bad, we're actually going to be reviewing two. The first one is from Marigold, with continuing with the Winter Wonderful Fight. This is day 7. However, this one features, of course, the Twin Star Cup tournament. Now, this event recently took place on the 20th of this month, but it was not broadcast or uploaded in Wrestle Universe until today. So basically, we have that. So we will see who will be our first ever winner. And then we move on with more with New Japan with Road to the Tokyo Dome. As you know, we're only days away until that happens. So a lot of things could happen, prelim matches, all that sort of thing. So we will see what will take place. And then, of course, we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world, pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got do Nike Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been set aside. I hope everybody has their Christmas trees because as soon as we are done, we're almost there to Christmas. So, let's begin with our very first review, and this one is from Marigold. Alrighty then. So let's begin with Marigold as we continue with day 7 of the Winter Wonderful Fight. Now, this particular event took place on the 20th of December in Sendai at the Sendai Pit. So basically wasn't uploaded until today. So this one is, of course, is the Twin Cup tournament. Basically, all tag teams will be fighting. So I'm going to presume whoever wins this tournament will probably get a shot of the Twin Star Tag Team title. So that's basically, we'll see what happens. But let's begin with our first match, which is a non-tournament. It's a four-way match. We have Naho Yamada versus Yuki Minami versus Komomo Minami versus Hummingbird. So interesting that these four ladies were not even involved in the tournament, but it gives a good opportunity for a starter for everybody so they can relax, so we don't jump in until the tournament. So basically nothing too significant on this one. However, Hummingbird was the one who walked out as the winner when she applied the bridge onto Yuki Minami, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over, just like that. Now, our next 4 matches are the first round matches of the Twin Star Cup tournament. So let's start with our first match. Our first match, we have Rei Seto and Nao Ishikawa taking on Mitsa Matsui and our current Superfly champion Natsumi Shozuki. Nothing, you probably can guess this is more about who will try to advance to the semifinals, which obviously you would see that was going to happen. But however, um, this one ended with, of course, with Shozuki applying a double diving knee drop onto Nao Ishikawa, and just like that, they move on to the next round. Our next match, we have the rookies themselves. Well, the future aces of Marigold. We're talking about Celine Floor, consisting of Kizuna Tanaka and Victoria Yuzuki. They take on the current Twin Star Tag Champions, Chiaki and Nagiza Nozaki. Now, of course, when it comes to those two, you know they will try to cheat their way through. That's always been their stick the entire time. That's exactly how they won the Twin Star tag belts. But however, that did not work for them because it was Victoria Yuzuki who was able to pick up a win on Chiaki, and just like that. However, what I do notice people should take account, even if somehow Kizuna and Yuzuki were unable to win this tournament, they can cash in an opportunity for the tag belts. That is something that could be countable. So we just will see what happens when they will cash it in. We know that both Chiaki and Nozaki will be, in fact, defending those belts on January 3rd against Bozilla and her tag partner. So we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, we have Myla Grace teaming up with Bozilla, taking on the former and the inaugural Twin Star Tag Champions, Mai Sakurai and Mirai. Now, of course, you would think the common factor is Bozilla, the biggest and strongest of in the ring. That's always been the common factor. But however, I think the smarter way, even though it's difficult to put down Bozilla unless you're someone like Suri who studied Antonio Inoki, you know there's ways to put her down. But however, neither Mirai or Sakurai had that capability. But it was Sakurai who was able to pick up the win by applying the STF on Molly Grace, and just like that, they proceed into the next round. Now, our next match, you can think of this as that there's a part of this that's a prelim. We have Chika Goto teaming up with the current United National Champion, or better known as the White Belt Champion, Miku Ano, taking on, of course, Kyoki Omori, our current and inaugural GHC Women's Champion, and of course, Utami Ayashida. Now, of course, you probably would think this is going to be a very tough battle because most parts we will see is Chika Goto and Kyoki Amari clashing because of their upcoming event that will take place. However, that did not do any well for any of them because this match ended in a time limit draw after 15 minutes. So it's a real bummer that that happened. But there was one question many of you would ask: how we jump into semifinals? Well, I don't know, because it turns out they put Mitsa Matsui and Natsumi Shozuki in the finals, and the people who were involved in the semifinals, we have, of course, Kizuna Tanaka and Victoria Yuzuki taking on Mirai and Mai Sakurai. But of course, the Kizuna and Yuzuki, well, they wasted no time, so they just made a beeline towards, of course, the former tag champions, and just like that, they kept going and going and going until, of course, finally, it was Mai Sakurai who picked up the win on Kizuna Tanaka with the submission. It seems like she was going to do an STF, but she tried something different, which was more effective. So that helped her out to proceed into the finals. But later we jump in, of course, with the finals with Sakurai and Mirai taking on Misa and Shozuki. And of course, things will be the same thing as always. Try to stop the former tag champions in their tracks. That did not work out in their favor one way or the other, because we have seen how resilient and strength Mirai has been. So she was able to pick up a win by applying a lariat onto Shozuki, and just like that, it was over. So we have our first ever Twin Star Cup champions winners. So we'll see what happens down the road. I wouldn't be surprised if they catch an opportunity for the tag belts, but we'll see what happens. So as of right now, we are done with Mighty Gold. Let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, our we are now in day 5 of Road to Tokyo Dome by New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're only days away from that. Uh, we we opened up with the Chase Your Dream match. Of course, we have the Young Lion, Katsuya Murashima, and faces a mystery opponent. And this opponent turned out to be just like the last time, the Time Bomb himself, Hiromu Takahashi. So you would guess that this match was going to fall in favor with Hiromu, which it did. He once again, like he did with Kato, he actually applied the Boston Crab. However, in post match, Tetsuya Naito showed up, basically attack Hiromu because if many of you guys know this or not, Hiromu and Tetsuya Naito will face off each other at Wrestle Kingdom. So that's going to be an interesting to happen. But however, Hiromu had the upper hand, and just like that, it was over. Our next match, you can call this the Battle of the Bohemians, the Battle of a Haas fight, or however you want to look at it. We have Hartley Jackson representing TMDK taking on United Empire's Jeff Cobb. So you probably would try to figure out who is going to walk out as the victor. But however, since we know Jeff Cobb is a mostly under contract with New Japan, he probably will pick up the win when he applied the Tour of the Islands. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's done. Now our next match, we have the Super Junior Tag League winners, TMDK, or better known as the Ichiban Sweet Boys, Kosa Fujita and Robbie Eagles, taking on the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida. So basically, you can think of it as a prelim before Wrestle Kingdom. But however, this match ended in a no contest thanks to those scumbags, Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney, the biggest crybabies after losing the tag belts to the Jet Setters. I'm sure they've been crying. They're trying to find ways to get back. They don't care if TMDK or the Ichiban boys actually, are the winners. And then, of course, we did see Catch 2 get involved. But however, we did see how, of course, all three teams against Maloney and Connors, they were trying to wipe them out. However, Kevin Knight decided, you know what? Let's make this interesting. They are willing to put the tag belts on the line against everybody involved in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. So that's going to be interesting. And I don't think anybody cares. But of course, Clark Connors and Joel Monroe thinks they have the upper hand because they think this is their stick. However, it's a brutal match. Nobody knows if they survive it or not. Now our next match, we have Satoshi Kojima, Master Wato, and El Desperado taking on, of course, just four guys, Taka Michinoku, Taichi, and Doiki. Now remember, this is a prelim match between El Desperado and Doiki for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom. So that kind of plays it out. However, you would think that this is going to end up in who's going to build up the momentum on this one. But however, this one was built up by Despy when he applied the Pinchi Loco onto Taka Michinoku, and just like that, it was over. So we are going to pay attention what happens here on out. Now our next match is a 10-man tag team match. We have El Phantasmo making his in-ring return after battling cancer. He teams up with Tomoaki Hamna, Bolton Oleg, Toru Yano, and Hiroshi Tanahashi to take on the most hated group, the House of Idiots, or better known as the House of Torture. I don't see any torture about them, of course. We have Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Sho, Yujiro, Ren Narita, and Evil, along with F and Dick in tow as well. But of course, when it comes to, of course, the House of Torture, these guys will stop at nothing to win and make their point. However, their opponent, of course, the Hung Tai boys decided, let's make a beeline for them. But what I like about this match, we know that House of Torture loves to cheat. But however, there is a bit of the a-hole that we know about El Phantasmo that we love so much. Remember what Kevin Kelly, he used to say, El Phantasmo may be an a-hole, but he is our a-hole. And I think we missed that part of him. He got away with it when he gave a punch on the gonads onto, of course, Yujiro. And just like that, there was the Thunder Kiss 86, and just like that, it was over. But however, when it comes to the House of Losers, crying like little girls, they decided to retaliate by attacking the winners. And just like that, as you know, Evil, who has a sight on Tanahashi to retire him sooner, he cut his hair. But if I was Tanahashi, I would have I would try to build up a strategy to deal with these morons. So we'll see what happens then. Our next match, we have LIJ's Bushi, Shingo Takagi, Yota Tsuji. They take on the Bullet Club War Dogs, or should I call the War Puppies, because these guys are a bunch of crybabies. Geto, Sonata, and David Finlay. Now, of course, don't forget, David Finlay will defend the IWGP Global Championship against Yota Tsuji, a guy that Finlay feels he doesn't deserve anything. But of course, that's always been the case. But this match ended with, of course, Finlay applying the overkill on Bushi. So basically, Finlay is sending a message that he's going to take him out once and for all. But we'll see what happens after that. Now, our main event, we have Tomohiro Ishii. He teams up with, of course, the challenger for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Shota Umino, better known as Shooter or the Roughneck, taking on TMDK's Rohi Oiwa and our current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Zack Sabre Jr. So you would think that this is going to be a match that who's going to build up the momentum till Wrestle Kingdom. That's always been the clear-cut case from there. But, however, it was Shota Umino who walked out as the victor in this match when he applied Death Rider onto Oiwa, and just like that, it was over. So we will see what happens when we get to Wrestle Kingdom. So we still got days to go, and we'll pay attention very, very closely. So for right now, let's end things here and move on with our news updates. I almost forgot about that. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with events from the promotions that are coming up. As you know, we have GCW majority on this one. On the 31st, we have the Till Infinity at the Mecca in Ridgeway Park in New Jersey. We do have an interesting tag match that was announced for that particular day. We have Homicide teaming up with Grim Reaper. They take on Kerry Morton and Griffin McCoy. And then, of course, we have the 11th of January in 2025 in Columbus, Ohio for Thank Me Later. We have Super Crazy teaming up with Gringo Loco, taking on the Rejects, consistent of the Duke of Hardcore, John Wayne Murdoch, and Reed Bentley. And then, of course, we got the Live in London on the 26th of January in 2025. We have Maki Ito taking on Man Like the Reese. Now, this was announced by House of Glory. The final warning taking place on the 25th of January in 2025. The House of Glory World Championship will be defended. Mike Santana defends the belt against Kenta. So that's going to be a very tough match to watch. Now for our developments here. Dustin Rhodes, it was already been reported that Dustin Rhodes has signed a multi-year contract with AEW. So it looks like he's going to stay there. So good for him. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. Now, this was a very interesting thing that was revealed. Many of you know this. I reported that Tokyo Pro Wrestling's talent, Pom Harajuku, has won the Setup Asian Women's Championship. Many of you may question, why did she make the choice to challenge for this belt? Well, it turns out that there's things about her we don't know about, and it's great to know some things. According to what Pom Harajuku revealed, is that she discovered wrestling in Thailand. Yes, guys, there is wrestling in Thailand. That's why Setup existed, and Got to Move was in fact started there too in Thailand. The only reason she discovered it there is because her parents were working in Thailand, and that's always been the reason. And she treats Thailand as her second home, and of course that's the reason why she wanted to wrestle in setup. So it's kind of like a part of her will always remain in Thailand, and I think that's a good thing to learn about her. So it makes a lot of sense of her to wrestle down there. So I'm sure we'll see her down there too. Now, Tam Nakano, as you know, will be defending the red belt against her former student, Sayaka Mitani, who, as you all know, she is blaming Tam for everything that happened to her back in last year in 2023 with the five-star Grand Prix tournament. But Tam had this to say: um, "Fallen wrestler, um, she she calls her the fallen wrestler, but however, um, Kamitani even told her, she said she should be more like Nigusa, Nigusa Nagoya instead of Dump Matsudo. I don't see that with Tam with being those two, but however, this thing is going to be very epic when we get closer to Dream Queendom on the 29th. Now, a situation took place recently at Wrestling Revolver's recent event at season finale. Apparently, there's been a bit of a trouble with Matthew Palmer. Did not witness the event, but hearing this is kind of interesting. Those who know this or not, Matthew Palmer is in fact the real life husband of our current ROH Women's World Champion, Athena. There was a statement that was made by Phil Stamper, who is the executive vice president of Wrestling Revolver, and this is what he had to put out. Let me read the statement. At Wrestling Revolver season finale in Clive, Iowa, Saturday, December 7th, an incident occurred reaching to the point it never should have escalated to. For several months, Matthew Palmer has intensified his aggression towards the fans, colleagues, even injuring Wrestling Revolver promoter Sammy Callahan at the previous event. At season finale, his behavior has reached an unconscionable level. After the match, Palmer was violently attacked his opponents, officials, security members, even his own tag partner, Rich Swann. In that moment, I made a decision that I can officially confirm today. Wrestling Revolver has indefinitely suspended Matthew Palmer, terminating his employment agreement effective immediately. We wish Matthew Palmer seek the therapy and anger management sources offered to him to find for the report. Signed, Phil A. Stamper, Executive Vice President of Wrestling Revolver, December 23rd, 2024. So, yeah, I can see that why it's a problem, but I have to say, if Phil Stamper feel that this is a situation that has reached its level, they made the right choice. Hopefully, Matthew Palmer does get the help he needs. I mean, it's not healthy for someone to do something like this at all. And he should not be acting like that in front of coworkers, people that he know, people who are his friends. But like I said, I just hope he gets the help he needs. So um, all we can do is pray and hope he does exactly what he needs to do. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for everything on this episode. We are done with all the reviews and everything else. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as probably was speaking, we have the latest Stardom event. A lot of things will taking place. Some matches are preliminaries before Dream Queendom, so we will see that. We do have the high speed belt and the future belt on the line as well. So we'll see what happens. I know there's a lot of events I have to review. We'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll leave things as it is and move forward from there. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.